openly say that we'd rather stay clear of the Indian players because they look like underdogs, but they're very sharp. But this is some message that another pesky neighbor needs to get, ladies and gentlemen. Just doesn't get it, that we are sharp and we are going to push them back. But they still keep coming at us. Pakistan continues to foment trouble and quickly covering ground here because this is what happened in the last 24 hours across the LOC. An infiltration bid was spoiled. This happened because terrorists are trying to make an entry back into our soil. Our security forces killed 2 terrorists along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district. Forces recovered arms and ammunition from the spot. Now, how this happened, let's try and understand that. Intelligence inputs were received from multiple intelligence agencies in Jammu Kashmir and Jammu Kashmir police revealed that the presence of terrorists who were waiting to cross the LOC from the Balakot sector. Now, based on these inputs, own surveillance grid was placed on very high alert. Multiple ambushes were sighted at suitable locations by the forces. As the terrorists approached India's ambush sites, they were challenged and then engaged with effective fire. 2 terrorists were gunned down by the forces in this entire encounter. During the searches, AK-47 rifles with 2 magazines, 30 rounds, 2 grenades and Pak origin medicines were also found. There has been a sharp decline in terror-related activities, but more importantly, is this hurting the enemy? And at a time when the military is quasi-controlling the Pak government there, are these activities only increasing, both overt and covert? No stone pelting reported, drop in terror activities, record surge in tourism, infrastructure boost, increased connectivity, successful G20 summit, ease of doing business, 5th largest economy, equal rights to citizens, global stature, goodwill being increased. More importantly, India is becoming powerful, rising day by day. Pakistan hurtling towards penury, economic hardship, and of course being treated like a global pariah. Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow, ORF, joins us. Sushant ji, namaste, Jai Hind. Thank you for joining us. Albeit on a little bit of a tight notice here, but I quickly just want to ask you, Sushant ji, if I may, this Mushaal Mullick move, the infiltration bid, and all of this just around the time a caretaker government and the Prime Minister, the caretaker PM, are clearly hand-in-glove man with the ISI and the military establishment. Should we reel all of this in conjunction?
I think quite clearly the signaling from Pakistan, even the appointment of Mushaal Mullick, who's known to be an old ISI, person with very close links. In fact, not just her entire family. They are one of those entrepreneurs who have made a lot of money by, peddling this nonsense on Kashmir, and perhaps a marriage to Yasin Malik also had something to do with it. But appointing her was a demonstration of intention by the Pakistani deep state on how they are going to proceed with India. The kind of statements which are coming out from Asim Munir and this new government doesn't signal that there's going to be any change from the past. And in fact, even their foreign minister, who himself has been found to be involved in financing of terror activity in India, has made one of those typical pro forma statements that yes, we want good relations, but it has to be on the issue of Kashmir. So there's basically been no change from the Pakistani side. And Anand, the fact is that the deeper the troubles that the Pakistanis get into, I think the greater will be the incentive for the Pakistani military establishment to try and finger India a little bit, to try and notch up tensions with India, because that they hope will start uniting an otherwise deeply divided country, and also convey a message to India that they are still in the fray. What hurts the Pakistanis the most is that India simply has stopped talking about Pakistan now. At the official level, nobody talks about them. They are ignored. Nobody bothers anymore, except for some, past their sell-by date Congress people who write books and preach that good relations with Pakistan is what will lead India to greatness, which is utter nonsense. But other than that, I think at the official level, everybody in India is ignoring Pakistan, and the Pakistanis can't handle it. For them, the way India is ignoring Pakistan is something which hurts them very deeply, hurts their ego, hurts whatever delusions they had about themselves, and now we are frying bigger fish, so nobody really bothers about Pakistan anymore. So I think that is also hurting them, and they want to show that they remain relevant.
Right.
But having said this, I think the incident which happened last night, there is a little more to it than meets the eye. I think from the Pakistani side, they tried to cover it up by saying that there was a violation of the ceasefire. From the Indian side, we've said we've stopped an infiltration attempt. I think it was more than stopping an infiltration attempt. There are some reports that we actually crossed into the LOC and hit.
Although it's
some
been
of the
rejected.
terrorists who were waiting to infiltrate. And from the Pakistani side, they don't want to admit it, so they are trying to cover it up. But clearly, the fact that they allowed these guys to regroup means that they want to keep the pot on the simmer and show that they remain in the fray, and that India should not think that they've given us a walkover, which they have in many ways, because frankly, the Kashmir story is over as far as Pakistan is concerned.
Sushant, thank you very much for your comment and your insight. Thank you very much. I've got to wind up the right stand on that note. Over to Zaka for Brass Tacks.